Whenever you have a vertical line and a horizontal line that intersect, this is called a coordinate plane. We can label the parts negatives and positives. So anything to the right of the middle is what? To the right. Positive. Good. So let's say this is positive 2, 4, 6, and okay, negative 4, negative 6. Anything above 0 at the top is positive or negative? Positive. Good. And anything below that is negative. Okay, I'm just trying to label this as best as possible. We have two axes. We have an x-axis and a y-axis. Which one's x? Our x-axis is horizontal. That means it's going left to right. And our y-axis is vertical. Anytime you plot a point on the graph, how do you read a coordinate? How do we read one? X, Y, okay? Always X, Y. Think of the alphabet. X comes before Y. In this coordinate plane, we have 4 quadrants. What's a quadrant? Quadrants. So this is quadrant 1. This is always referred to as quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. Okay, does anyone remember what the center of the graph is called? How would I label this point? How would I label it? This is labeled as 0, 0. Okay, it does not move along the x-axis and it does not move along the y-axis. It stays at 0, 0. Does anyone remember what that word is called? It starts with an O.
The origin.
Excellent, the origin. Okay, this is referred to as the origin. Anytime we label a point, okay, so let's start with this point here. If I place a point on that part of the grid, and I ask you to tell me where is this point located. So we start at the origin. I always start with moving along the x-axis. So how far did I have to move along the x-axis? I had to move how many units? Good, 4 units to the right. And then what? 2 units up. Okay, so this point would be labeled as 4, 2. And they're both positive, right? Because we're moving to the right and up. So anything in this quadrant will be positive. Positive and positive. This is located at negative 4, positive 2. Okay, again, Celeste, we start at 0. We're moving 4 to the left, so it's negative. And we're moving up 2. So it's positive. Anything in quadrant 2 will be negative and then positive. Anything in quadrant 1, like we just said, will be positive and positive. Right and up is positive and positive. Anything here in quadrant 2 is negative, then positive. Yeah. A point that we would find in quadrant 3 would be negative 6, negative 4. And what do you notice about any coordinate that's in quadrant 3? Negative and negative, because we're starting at the origin. If you move to the left and down, it's going to be negative and negative. Point we would find in quadrant 4 would be positive 6 and then negative 6. That would be right here, positive 6, negative 6. So all coordinates in quadrant 4 would be what first? Positive and then negative, because we're going to the right and then down. So what I want you to do is I want you to plot these 4 points on the grid, on the coordinate plane, and label them A, B, C, D. Okay, so for the first point, we start at the origin, move 3 to the right, 1, 2, 3, and then what? 2 down. I'm just using this yellow to show you where it is. That is point A. Good. Okay? Because we start with a positive, so we go to the right, and then negative, we move down. The coordinates 0, 4. What do I do? Excellent. Because x is 0, we always start at the origin. Because x is 0, I don't move left or right. There's no movement, 0. And then, as you said, how do I move? up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here is point B. Point B is on the y-axis. It's touching the y-axis, right? For point C, again, we start at the origin. And because it's -1, I'm moving 1 to the left. Y is 0, so do I move up or down? Do I move up or down if y is 0? No, so I stay right here. I stay at -1 on the x-axis. There's no movement for y. There's no movement up or down. For D, we start at 0, move 4 to the right, and then what? Down 2. Why are we moving down 2? Good. Okay, so it's going to be right here. I accidentally wrote on it. There's D. Okay?
Made with Doodlecast Pro.